Assembly line danger: the hidden risks of routine tasks. In manufacturing and warehousing, repetition is part of the job. You do the same task over and over, day in and day out, and while that repetition might seem harmless, it actually introduces one of the most underestimated risks in the workplace: complacency. Welcome back to the channel where we dive into real safety for real people. Today we're talking about the hidden dangers that come with repetitive tasks in manufacturing and warehouse settings. If you work with machines, handle materials, or manage frontline teams, this episode is for you. Repetition can make tasks feel easy, even automatic. And that's part of the problem. When something becomes automatic, we stop paying attention to the details. We assume nothing will go wrong because nothing has gone wrong before. But safety doesn't care how many times you've done a task. It only takes one moment of inattention for something to go very, very wrong. Think about a production line worker tasked with inspecting parts. After a few hours or a few years, the risk is no longer in the equipment, but in the assumption that everything is fine. A missed defect, a skipped check, a guard left open just for a second. These are the things that lead to injury. Let's look at a case study. At an automotive parts factory in Germany, a worker operating a metal stamping press suffered a crush injury to their hand. The root cause? A bypassed interlock system meant to speed up the process. The operator had done the job hundreds of times without issue. But that day, they reached in before the press had fully cycled. The result was catastrophic. Investigators found that productivity pressures, repetitive task fatigue, and lack of reinforcement on safety protocols all contributed. It wasn't a lack of rules, it was a breakdown in reinforcement and focus. This is where leadership plays a huge role. Supervisors and managers must actively rotate tasks, enforce breaks, and use regular check-ins to keep people alert. A 5-minute micro break or a quick reset can mean the difference between routine and risk. Another challenge in repetitive environments is posture and ergonomics. Reaching, bending, lifting, and standing for long periods can lead to cumulative injuries that creep up over time. The danger here isn't just immediate incidents, it's long-term wear and tear that leads to disability, lost time, and chronic pain. A warehouse worker in Atlanta experienced a career-ending back injury while doing what he thought was a safe lift. After years of poor ergonomics and rushed manual handling, one sudden twist caused a herniated disc that required surgery. No equipment failure, no unsafe condition, just one body pushed past its limit, finally giving out. Repetitive stress injuries like carpal tunnel syndrome, tendinitis, and rotator cuff issues are among the most common reasons manufacturing workers file for workers' compensation. But, many of these injuries are preventable with the right engineering controls, administrative policies, and behavior-based training. So, how do we address the root causes? Let's start with awareness. Safety walkthroughs should include not just hazards like spills or faulty machinery. Ask workers what movements hurt, observe posture and position, and of course, monitor task frequency. Use job hazard analyses to break down routine tasks and identify small risks that could become big problems. You might discover that a simple fix, like raising a table, adjusting a light, or moving a supply bin, eliminates dozens of risky movements per day. Many successful operations implement stretch and flex programs at the start of each shift. These short sessions not only warm up muscles and increase flexibility, they also signal that safety is part of the routine, not an afterthought. There's also the mental toll of monotony. When the brain checks out, safety awareness goes down. Distraction, boredom, and burnout become hazards of their own. That's why job rotation and task variation aren't just good for morale, they're critical for safety. Mental engagement matters. Supervisors should regularly check in with workers, ask how they're doing, and encourage short, meaningful conversations that remind them their presence matters. One company introduced a safety moment every 2 hours, where workers paused to share something they noticed about their task or environment. The result? A dramatic drop in complacency-related incidents. Technology can help too. Some companies are using wearables to monitor posture, fatigue, or exposure to repetitive motion. Others use visual alerts or task counters to prompt short breaks. But tech is only a tool. It works best when it supports a culture of care and communication. Another case study from a packaging plant in Mexico shows how these principles work in action. After a spike in wrist injuries among their packing staff, management engaged workers in redesigning their stations. With a few low-cost tools, adjustable chairs, elbow supports, and slide rails, the rate of reported pain symptoms dropped by more than 60% in 6 months. Training must also reflect the realities of repetitive work. Generic safety videos aren't enough. Workers need hands-on instruction tailored to their tasks. Teach body mechanics, micro-break techniques, and mindfulness strategies. Build habits that workers can carry with them throughout their shift. And let's not forget that pressure from above plays a huge role. Pushing for productivity at the expense of safety always backfires. Managers must be clear that safe work comes first, even if it takes longer. Celebrate accuracy, not just speed. Reward teams that prevent incidents, not just those who beat deadlines. At the end of the day, the most dangerous job isn't always the biggest or the heaviest. Sometimes it's the one you know so well, you stop thinking about it. That's why routine work deserves our full attention. Let's keep this conversation going. Have you experienced or witnessed complacency-related incidents in manufacturing or warehouse work? What strategies has your workplace used to combat routine-related risk? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if this video gave you something to think about, hit like, subscribe, and share it with your team. Until next time, stay alert, stay aware, and never assume safety is automatic.